As I tighten my grip on the steering wheel, I stare out the windshield at the seemingly endless road that spreads out in front of me. The low sun has cast lengthy shadows on the blacktop, which is blanketed in darkness. After making a couple of jerks, my vehicle finally comes to a stuttering halt. As I let out a deep breath, I mumble, "Fantastic! I couldn't have asked for anything more." The engine is stopped, and I come to a stop as far away as I can. This automobile is sitting there like an old mule that refuses to cooperate. I am so frustrated that I slap the steering wheel, despite the fact that my heart is already beating faster than usual because of the stress. For what reason at this specific moment? It is only natural that there is no signal when I reach for my phone in order to contact for assistance with roadside help. I let out a sigh and then retuck the phone into my purse before unlocking the door and stepping out into the dry air of October. There is a faint aroma of pine trees that emanates from a considerable distance down the road. When I finally get a good look at the engine, I lean over and lift the hood. In spite of the fact that I know very little about automobiles and that my husband, Phoenix, has always taken care of things like this, I continue to tap on things and jiggle cables in the hope that a miracle would occur. None of it. "You must be joking with me, can't you?" I mutter my complaints under my breath. It's getting to me. At the same time as I am unable to get rid of the sweat that is biting at me like a mosquito, I hear the low purr of an engine that is slowing down. At the same time as I am looking up, a sleek black truck comes to a stop behind me. All I do is stare for a little period as the driver exits the vehicle. In my estimation, he is in his mid-20s, tall, broad-shouldered, and has unruly dark brown hair that falls across his forehead. His shoulders are broad, and his shoulders are broad. He has a tiny beard that dusts his jawline, and his t-shirt fits his arms and chest just too snugly. This gives the impression that he is wearing the kind of strength that can only be achieved by manual labor. "Do you require assistance?" He makes a call. As he speaks in a voice that is easygoing and smooth, with a hint of a smile on his lips, I straighten up and brush a stray hair out of my face. I respond, "Yeah, my car just broke down on me," while making an effort to avoid seeming too weak. As his boots make a crunching sound on the gravel, he approaches the vehicle and examines the engine compartment. "What if I were to gaze at you?" I shift to the side in order to create room for him. He has a tiny beard that dusts his jawline, and his t-shirt fits his arms and chest just too snugly. This gives the impression that he is wearing the kind of strength that can only be achieved by manual labor. "Do you require assistance?" He makes a call. As he speaks in a voice that is easygoing and smooth, with a hint of a smile on his lips, I straighten up and brush a stray hair out of my face. I respond, "Yeah, my car just broke down on me," while making an effort to avoid seeming too weak. As his boots make a crunching sound on the gravel, he approaches the vehicle and examines the engine compartment. "What if I were to gaze at you?" I shift to the side in order to create room for him. His presence is irresistible to those around him. It is as if he is an expert at what he is doing because of the way he moves, which gives the impression that he is confident without being arrogant. He leans over, and as he does so, I catch a whiff of the peculiarly delightful aroma of pine soap and engine oil. It appears as though he has done this task 1,000 times, as his hands, which are huge, rough and strong, begin to fiddle with the wires and hoses. My eyes should be on the car, but instead they wander to the veins in his forearms and the way his muscles ripple under his skin while he is working. It is a very satisfying experience to see a man perform a talent that he is skilled at, with vigor and purpose in each movement that he makes. He gives me a friendly smile and looks up at me. "It appears that your alternator is malfunctioning and causing you some trouble." His eyes are a warm hazel color, and as they catch the last rays of sunlight, they almost turn a golden color. I blink, taken aback by the extent to which those eyes have captured my attention. "Is that a terrible thing, huh?" Even though I was having trouble keeping my voice steady, I asked. When he chuckles, he creates a low, rumbling sound with his voice. "Not at all. It's not that horrible. However, I have patched it up to the point where you can go home. You should bring it to my business as soon as possible. It is going to call for an appropriate repair." Taking a cloth out of his pocket, he straightens his posture while wiping his hands. During this conversation, Adam extends his hand to me, and I graciously accept it. The tactile sensation of his palm against mine is rough and warm, and his grip is firm without being overly tight. I reply, "Thank you, Adam," while experiencing a peculiar flutter in my breast. "Brianna, thank you. I'm not sure what I would have done if you hadn't chosen to halt what you were doing." When he smiles at me, it makes my heart burst with joy. He reaches inside his wallet and pulls out a card, which he then presents to me while stating, "I'm just glad I was passing by here. I will make it work as it was brand new if you bring it in whenever you get the opportunity to do so." I give the card I am holding a cursory glance, and I notice that it is printed with the address and phone number of Zach's Auto Repair in a prominent manner across its entirety. For a little period, I am hesitant to let this interaction come to an end. My opinion is that you are a savior. Due to the fact that my heart is still beating extremely fast, I might accept that offer at any point, despite the fact that I am attempting to appear casual. I am left standing there with a car that has been fixed and a strange buzzing feeling under my skin. He has gone back into his truck and is driving off down the road. The eyes of Brianna remain fixed on mine for a length of time that is slightly longer than is required, and then there is an abrupt intensity that I feel all the way down to my bones. When I pull into our driveway, the porch light is already on, which casts a warm and inviting light over the front of the residential property. As soon as Yard Phoenix notices me standing at the entrance, his silver hair shines brightly in the sunlight, and a lovely smile appears on his face. "There she is, coming out to meet me," he adds with a generous tone. "My suspicions started to grow that you might have become disoriented." Despite the fact that my heart is still entwined with memories of the charming technician who came to my rescue when my car broke down, I smile back at him. It was someone who stopped and fixed it for me as I was getting out of the driver's seat, but I explained it to them. At the moment that we are entering, Phoenix places his arm around my waist and raises an eyebrow. To answer your question, yes, someone simply stopped and offered you aid of that manner. That was most likely sent by God. If you will, I respond by placing my purse on the counter in the kitchen. The young man, who was extremely friendly, handed me his business card and informed me that the alternator needed to be repaired. It is likely that I will take it to a store at some point during this week. After removing a chair from the table, Phoenix makes a signal for me to take a seat at the dining table. "That is wonderful, but you will need to make sure that it is checked out before it leaves you stranded once more." Immediately prior to heading to the stove to check on the progress of supper, he offers me a light compression on the shoulder. Phoenix has always been dependable, kind, and consistent in their behavior. Despite the fact that I adore that aspect of Adam, my thoughts keep going back to him as we eat. I think about his strong hands, his effortless smile, and the way he made me feel seen in a manner that I hadn't experienced in a very long time. "Is there anything that happened today that is particularly noteworthy?" As Phoenix places some mashed potatoes on his plate, he presents the question to those around him. I pause for a fraction of a second longer than I should have. With a shrug I respond, "Not really." A single instance of the automobile. Despite the fact that we are laughing over dinner, I am aware of a peculiar undercurrent that is pulling at me. It is a lingering sense of something that I am unable to specifically identify. My remark is met with a satisfied nod from him, and we proceed to return to our usual routine. In the later hours of that night, as we are laying in bed, the room is absolutely dark, with the exception of the moonlight that is visible just through the window. Adam is the only thing that comes to mind. When I think about his hands and how smoothly they moved over the engine, I feel a sudden wave of heat come over me. When I glance at Phoenix, who is dozing softly, remorse begins to creep into the recesses of my mind. Can you tell me what's wrong with me? What is it about a young mechanic that I am considering when I have a man who is absolutely satisfactory at my side? In spite of this, I am powerless to change it. I am unable to predict when the ideas will appear. They are like a silent excitement that is pulsating through my veins and keeping me awake and restless. I can't help but linger over Adam's business card the following morning, long after Phoenix has gone to sleep, and run my fingertips over the embossed text. I can't help but do this. Do you agree that getting the car inspected won't be detrimental to anything? What is it about the mere idea of seeing him again that causes my heart to race, especially considering that it would only be a little fix? Quicken the card is kept on the kitchen counter, and it is stored there like a little secret that is waiting to be revealed. I make excuses to spend more time at the counter than is required by looking at it every few minutes while I clean the house. I do this when I am cleaning the house. At long last, I am able to take it up and dial the number. Before I am able to talk myself out of it, the phone rings twice, and then a voice that is very smooth and familiar answers. I am Adam and I work at Zach's Auto Repair today. My heart is racing and I am on the verge of hanging up because of my anxiety. Hello there, my name is Brianna. Yesterday while I was driving on the highway, you assisted me with my vehicle. I say this while attempting to make my voice sound calm and unhurried. I'm able to recall you, yes. He offers a voice that is warm and kind. How is the condition of the vehicle? My response is, it's running, but you said I should bring it in. I let out a small chuckle and responded. Simply put, I was interested. What time would be most convenient for you? Without any hesitation, he answers. You are welcome to come by at this very moment if you would like. One of our spots is currently open. Not at all what I had anticipated. Additionally, I did not anticipate that the notion would cause my heart to beat faster than normal. I make an effort not to come out as overly enthusiastic, but I remark that it is functioning wonderfully at the moment. That is great. I'll be right back to see you. It's possible that I'm just imagining things, but I can't help but hear Brianna's voice for a more extended period of time than is really necessary. My stomach is turning with every mile that I go to the workshop, but the trip itself goes without a hitch. I feel stupid since I am a lady who is middle-aged and mature. As a result, I find myself acting as if I were a young woman who has a crush on him. Imagining encountering him once more is a really alluring prospect. As soon as I get into the parking lot, I am able to spot him without delay. The tightness of his t-shirt has not changed since the previous day, and he is currently standing next to an elevator while using a rag to wipe his hands. Every single one of the other guys here is more handsome than the one before them. There are several other males here. While I am exiting the vehicle, he gives me a friendly smile and says, "Hey there, she is. I am happy that you will be able to come." When I declare that I wouldn't miss it, I want to hit myself because I sound so flirty while I'm saying it. It would appear that Adam is unaware of the situation. If he does it with ease if he does at all. When he opened the hood, he immediately began working while stating, "Let's see what we got here." I keep my distance from him and try not to reveal how much I enjoy watching him bend over the engine, those massive arms flexing with each step. I observe him from a distance. The way he works is so effortless and precise that it seems as if he was born to do this. After a few minutes have passed, he straightens his back and wipes his hands with the rag instead of his hands. He gives me a stern look and then says, "It's going to take a little bit more than I could have imagined. It is most likely going to be a day to organize things." What I say is that's fine. No haste, but perhaps a little too quick. Following him into his office, he adds, "Come on, I'll show you what needs fixing." He then makes a signal for me to follow him inside. The workplace is compact but well organized, consisting of a few seats pushed up against the wall and a desk that is crammed with paperwork. While we are having a conversation, he takes out a notepad and starts writing down the list of things that need to be fixed. He periodically looks up at me. "So what are you going to do?" The question is posed by Brianna in a humorous manner. It's not much, I must say, these days. And he lets out a small chuckle. I have retired to some extent. Seems like he is impressed. I react by leaning slightly on the desk and saying, "That could be quite pleasant. Great deal of spare time. Times it is excessive." Although he gives me a sympathetic grin, there is a hint of hesitation in his eyes, as if he is unsure of the direction that this talk is going to go. To tell you the truth, I am also unsure of where this conversation is headed. There is a sense of isolation. "With those hands of yours," I remark. "I bet you keep busy though," and my voice drops into a lower level as I say this. With the fact that you spend your days fixing things, you must have a great deal of expertise with them. As soon as I utter those words, I am conscious of how provocative they sound within my ears. When Adam pauses in the middle of his writing, his forehead furrows slightly, giving the impression that he is attempting to comprehend what I have just said. "Oh, certainly," he declares to himself with a chuckle in his voice. There is a possibility that you could argue that I proceed, bolstered by the fact that he is little uneasy. Are you not of the opinion that a man who possesses good hand skills possesses a particular quality? I feel a grin on my face as I tilt my head and observe him. Whenever he looks up at me, his face displays a look that is equal parts bewilderment and delight. That is my guess. Similar to the static that occurs before a storm, the tension that exists between us deepens. Although I am aware that I shouldn't be flirting with him in this manner, I am experiencing a level of excitement that I haven't had in many years. In any case, I'll get to work on the repairs as soon as possible, he says, clearing his throat and directing the conversation back to a more secure terrain. By tomorrow, it ought to be ready for use. I grin at him, hoping that it is nice and not something else, and then I say, "That sounds like the perfect thing to do." In the afternoon of the following day, my phone rings just after lunchtime. For the second time, my heart skips a beat as I see Adam's name displayed on the screen. "Greetings, Adam. Hey Brianna, your vehicle is all set to go." In an effort to appear unconcerned, I say that everything has been fixed and is operating without any problems. He says, "That's fantastic," and I answer by saying, "I'll head over right now." As soon as I arrive to the workshop, Adam is already waiting by my car, keeping his easygoing smile on his face, and he takes my keys. "This is her, and she is in pristine shape. I cut off a little part of the price because you were stuck when I found you," he says with a wink. He explains everything that he fixed to me in terms that I hardly comprehend but can follow nevertheless. He walks me through everything that he fixed. Imagine it as a fee for rescuing someone. My jaw drops when I take a peek at the bill and realize how reasonably priced it is. "I am really grateful to you, Adam, for doing that." "I am grateful to you." To which he responds, "Just doing my job, but I'm not going to let him get away with it." He shrugs his shoulders and adds, "I would want to express my sincere gratitude to him for going above and above on your behalf by taking $50 out of my wallet and placing it into his hand." His expression is one of obvious astonishment as he examines the money with a furrowed brow. "You are not obligated to do so. I'd be interested in doing so." In the process of interrupting him, I left my hand on his for a fraction of a second longer than was strictly required. I am greeted with a sheepish look from Adam, who then places the tip in his pocket. "You're very kind, Brianna. Thank you very much." While I am drawing closer, just a hair, I am able to feel the warmth of his body against mine. This is done so that I will know who to call in the event that I ever have another breakdown. When I look again, there it is. The flicker of something in his eyes causes him to scratch the back of his neck, indicating that he is definitely unsure of how to react to the situation. Confusion, humor, and possibly even a trace of mystery are all present. As I stand there, I am suddenly overcome with a strong desire. In addition to a casual discussion and long looks, I desire something more. One thing that I haven't experienced in a very long time is a connection that makes me feel like I'm being ignited. In spite of the butterflies that are churning in my stomach, I would like to talk to you, Adam. Would it be feasible for us to come to your office for a little while? Specifically, I wanted to go into more depth regarding the automobile. He glances at me with eyes that are warm and hazel, and there is a hint of inquiry in his eyes. "Brianna, of course you are." In the process of making our way to the office, my thoughts are all over the place. The recent relationship that I have with my spouse, Phoenix, is something that I can't help but think about. It is not that he is a bad person. Rather, it is that there is something missing. It is possible for me to recall the instances in which I attempted to inspire enthusiasm but did not receive any response. No matter how many times you turn the key, it will not start. This is comparable to the situation that occurs when you attempt to start a car with a dead battery. To put it somewhat gently, it is really annoying. While it's true that his body doesn't react the same way it used to, it's not as if he doesn't care about the situation. I try to crank his engine as hard as I can, but it just won't start. Seems as if it has become stuck. The following person is Adam. He is so one of a kind, so lively and so full of vitality. When he talks about the things that I am passionate about, his eyes simply light up. His smile is genuine and unforced, and his hands are strong and confident in their ability to provide support. Everything about him reveals the fact that he is still young. It is comparable to striking a contrast between a vivid high-definition scene and a snapshot that has become faded and worn out. When I think about being in close proximity to that type of energy and life once more, I can't help but experience a sense of longing. It is challenging to ignore the difference, and it is even more challenging to avoid being drawn to it that is being discussed. Instead of focusing solely on physical attraction, it is important to feel alive while working. Adam, who is seated behind the desk, is the one who is sitting across from me. After folding my legs and leaning forward slightly, I look around the room at the numerous tools and components that are available. I take a gleaming wrench from the desk and say, "You have quite the collection here." I take the wrench from the desk. In the process of running my fingertips over the cool metal, I am able to sense its weight. Any and all of these instruments must be within your capabilities. When Adam looks at me, he feels a slight flush start to appear on his neck. Although I can see that he is intrigued, he is a little reserved. In a word, it's quite cute. I agree, he continues, his tone becoming a little more abrasive than it was before. Has been a lot of practice for me. Those screws, what are they about? I set the wrench down and take up a screw, rolling it between my fingers as I do so at the same time. My question is intended to be suggestive. In addition, do you have the ability to deal with them? Brianna, what are you doing right now? He chuckled and caressed the nape of his neck while doing so. All I want to know is that. I stop him and move closer to him in order to initiate a conversation on how things function and how you can make them function. During the brief minute that he maintains eye contact with me, I observe a glimmer of comprehension as well as a flare of passion. It is progressing really swiftly for him. According to what he says in a low voice, everything boils down to the right amount of pressure and touch. As excitement surges through my body, I can't help but smile. "Show me," I reply in a deep and sincere tone. I was holding the screw when he reached out and removed it from my grasp. There was a brief pause. I am not paying attention to the screw. Instead, I am focusing my attention on his hands, which are powerful and capable, and I am envisioning them on me as he rolls it between his own palms, displaying the delicate pressure and cautious touch. I extend my hand and place it over his for a moment. Suddenly, he stops moving and looks up at me in astonishment. The rhythm of his heartbeat is strong and consistent, and it corresponds to the rhythm of mine. My name is Brianna, and he emits a quiet exhalation as he says it. Through the use of my fingertips, I trace the lines of his palm and mutter, "Simply accept it." At the same time as he blinks, his eyes are riveted on mine. I am able to see the struggle that is being displayed in his eyes. The moment he gives in, the moment he makes the decision to let go of the situation. When he leans in to get closer to me, his fingers become entangled in my hair. He is trying to get closer to me. This is the moment that I have been anticipating ever since we first met. Because I am so interested in the present, I hardly notice the door opening or the unexpected interruption from the outside world. I am so fully immersed in the experience. "Kay, I'm sorry, but I have to." "Zach, I am truly sorry." As our bodies begin to part, we both begin to take deep breaths. As soon as I turned back, I saw another mechanic standing in the doorway. His eyes were wide with astonishment, and his dark skin was flushed with shame. His warm brown eyes and crooked smile make him endearing, and despite the fact that the scenario is awkward, I can't help but smile back at him. "It is not a surprise." I repeated it in a firm voice. I can feel my heart pounding in my chest. I said this without a pause. "We would be delighted to have you join us." Those are some things that I can't believe I'm saying. This is something I can't believe I'm doing. But it seems to be appropriate in some manner. It is before I have the opportunity to reflect or question my own judgment that the words leave my mouth. It seems to be just what I require. After giving me a quick glance, he then turns his attention to Adam, who gives me a little nod while smiling slightly. "I am John," he announces as he walks inside the office and closes the door behind him. Adam gets up, walks over to the door, and lowers the shutter in order to isolate himself from the rest of the world. At this point, there are only 3 of us. A smile appears on John's face as he takes a big step forward. By extending my arm to take hold of his hand, he draws me closer to him. In terms of strength, he is comparable to Adam. Within his solid and firm grasp, I am able to feel it. It's something I've never encountered before. Adam examines us with his dark gaze. His hands come into contact with mine as he moves closer to me. I am ecstatic because they are all around me on all sides. It is everything I have been longing for and everything I have been lacking at the same time. It is the rest of the world. There are only the 2 of us here. We investigate one another, moving in accord and unison, for the sole purpose of satisfying this one instant and this one requirement. Every single one of us takes part in this beautiful dance, rhythm, and song collectively. In a haze of emotion, time passes by in a flash. It is much above anything I could have ever imagined or hoped for in my life. It is everything, but as the intensity of the moment begins to lessen, the presence of reality starts to become more apparent. After some time has passed, as I am getting ready to go and packing my possessions, I find myself thinking about Phoenix and the life that we have established together, and I feel a little of remorse and guilt. I receive a warm smile from Adam. After I have arrived at my vehicle, John offers me a slight nod, indicating that he is definitely at a loss for words. While I am choking back a sob that is caught in my throat, I put my hands on the steering wheel and put one hand to my mouth. Something timid, even childish in nature. What happened to me? How would I decide to deal with Phoenix after all of this? It is a peculiar and bitter satisfaction that I can't help but feel as I drive away from the workshop, despite the fact that I have been under the impression that I have long since lost this emotion.